This is Jennifer from Belladonna's Botanicals, and I'm dipping into my archive of old blog posts for this video. But and I've recently gotten several questions asking about our products and are they safe to use around cats specifically, and a lot of that goes back to 2017, 2018, when it first really started making the headlines in the news about essential oil safety and cats. Now I am a certified aromatherapist. I have, I think, my level 1 or 2, and I'm certified in French aromatherapy. And one of these days I will finish up my clinical aromatherapy certification that I started 5 years ago. And then my business got too busy and I left it there. I literally did all the work. I just have to write a paper and do some case studies. Someday, when I find some of that free time, magical free time I hear about. So what I wanted to do, I'm revisiting my blog post. Now, I do a lot of research on things, and so I'm going to go through what I had written previously. And this is, from the aromatherapy perspective. I'm just trying to open up the window so I can read it. There we go. So I do, and when it comes to the questions I get that pertain now to my business is, like, if people buy a ritual oil and use it like on a candle warmer or an oil diffuser, just to add the one caveat, they are not made for water diffusers or water-based diffusers. They will clog the fuck out of them right away. So what I want to talk about here, because a lot of this comes from the MLM cults like Young Living and doTERRA that want you to flood your house in essential oils 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and whatnot. And a lot of people have diffusers, and I don't use them anymore. I don't even know if I still have any essential oil diffusers. I just don't find that they're the best use of it, like, for me. And I'm constantly working, so to have extra smells being pumped into the air, it just doesn't work for me. Like, I'll burn some incense or whatever, a candle, that's fine. I just don't use diffusers. And I mean, I have a wax melt thing. But what I want to talk about here is specifically with essential oils and cats. And even herbs too kind of can fit in here, because there was a lot of hysteria and misinformation. A lot of that misinformation was coming out of your MLM cults. So I'm just going to kind of go through a lot of the points, because I did a lot of research for this. Like, I contacted the I don't even know, the ASPCA. I have a bunch of different resources and references from other, experts in aromatherapy. I think I may have talked to the Poison Control Center. And when I was still living in Philadelphia and working at the University of Pennsylvania, the veterinary school there. So at the time, I've had cats since I was 4 years old. And as you can see in the background, I have cats. So the things that I want to emphasize on this, because I kind of made like a bullet list here. Brand does not matter. 100% pure, high quality essential oils can be just as harmful to cats as synthetics. And what I say there with 100% pure, high quality essential oils, that's like the tagline of like Young Living and doTERRA. They claim that theirs are so pure that they won't ever cause any issues, and that's just bullshit. So essential oils that can be toxic to cats are wintergreen, birch, basil, clove, oregano, niuli, which is Melaleuca quinervia, thyme with the chemotype of thymol and borneol. I'll get into chemotypes in a minute. Mountain savory, tea tree, laurel, peppermint, eucalyptus, and cinnamon bark. Other oils can produce health risks for cats, that may be, for all intents and purposes, safe. Now, the same applies to humans. I mean, anyone can have an idiosyncratic reaction to an essential oil or any type of blend. I'm just gonna say here, like, since I'm wearing one glove and not one glove, I have a really bad, my psoriasis is acting up on my hand and it's killing me right now. So I have a gel line glove that's filled with lotion. It's squishy. Hold on. That was gross, wasn't it? Anyways, back to the story. It has been suggested that cats have an aversion to citrus oils, though there does not appear to be any references to specific potential toxicity. So why are some essential oils toxic to cats? Cats almost completely lack an important liver enzymes that humans do to process certain types of oils, and it's the chemical components in it. So, well, we've got these are primarily, Jesus Christ, I can't even pronounce this. So the enzymes are UDP glucocoronsyltransferase, or UGT, enzymes such as UGT1A6, 1A9, and 2B7. The oils that are most essential to toxic to cats are ones high in phenols, and those phenols are carvacrol, thymol, and eugenol. So let me just backtrack one little thing before I forget. When I talked about chemotypes, certain essential oils, and this is a completely random thing, there's really not a whole lot of rhyme or reason to it. So certain essential oils, rosemary, thyme, basil, and maybe one or two others, will have different chemotypes. And what that means is, so for, let's use rosemary. There's, I think, 3 primary chemotypes. There's cineol, verbenon, and what's the other one? Hold on. Jen forgot a word. Platform. So I can give you, what is a chemotype? Chemotypes are variances of chemical compositions of certain essential oils extracted from one botanical species, yet they vary in chemical compositions. They are not different species of the oil. So where you'll see something like Eucalyptus globulus or Eucalyptus radiata, and the other 450 different types of eucalyptus, that's a different species of eucalyptus. Where the chemotype is, it's the same genus and species. It's the density of the predominant chemical is what determines the chemotype. So plants with different chemotypes: rosemary, thyme, basil, hyssop was the other one, and niaouli. So rosemary, okay, camphor, that was the word I was trying to figure out. So rosemary has 3 different chemotypes: camphor, cineol, and verbenon. Now, the thing is, and this is something that's important, lessons from your aromatherapy friend. If you see something that just says rosemary essential oil, question it, because you really should know, because those chemotypes have different therapeutic actions. Now, if you're using rosemary for magical purposes, it's not going to have that much of a difference. But just to give you an example, so the rosemary with the chemotype of camphor, you know, and I'm just kind of going through a little bit of, like, so it can be neurotoxic if taken orally due to the camphor content. So rosemary with camphor, it's rich in camphor, 1,8 cineol. That's the cineol version is the other one. And supported by monoterpenes. It stimulates and increases energy. It can improve short-term memory, supports the circulatory system, pain relief, and clears the mind. Now, when we look at the cineol chemotype of rosemary, it's rich in cineol and supported by sesquiterpenes. There's a strong affinity with the respiratory system. It can be used for like as an antispasmodic and pain relief, stimulates mental function for the elderly, indicated for chronic fatigue and general fatigue, clears the mind. So there's a little bit of overlap, but in that first one with the camphor, we didn't really see a whole lot about the respiratory system. That's what you use the cineol one for. Verbenon is rich in the monoterpenes, apinines, supported by verbenon, camphor, and bornyl acetate. Used in skincare and hair care due to its regenerative abilities for oily or irritated skin. Also has a strong affinity towards the respiratory system. Relieves PMS, especially hot flashes, useful for postnatal depression, restores psychological and emotional balance, also clears the mind. So now you see this one, used in skincare and hair care. So if I'm making a skincare product, I'm going to want to put rosemary with verbenon in it, not cineol or camphor. There's a big difference there. So back when I wrote this, there was a huge thing with a lot of people from the MLM cults were making this mermaid spray for like hair growth and stuff like that, but called for rosemary. Well, you want to make sure you have the rosemary verbenon in it, not camphor or cineol. That's not going to do shit for your hair. So anyways, side quest completed. So let's see where we are. So diffusing, back to our regularly scheduled thing. Diffusing essential oils around your cats in general is okay, but as a good rule of thumb is to avoid essential oils high in phenols. Those are the ones listed above. You should always diffuse in a well-ventilated area that they can leave if they do not like the aroma. Always monitor them for any changes in health or behavior, like sudden onset of sneezing, coughing, extreme lethargy, vomiting, or disorientation. And also you want to take care is that if a pet has an underlying health problem, particularly respiratory issues, it's best to avoid use of essential oil diffusers in the household, period. Like over the summer, both my cats had the RSV, the respiratory virus thing, or upper respiratory virus. So like if that was a case and I normally was diffusing, I would have not diffused while they were sick. So there's a lot of unsubstantiated information on the subject that does not include legitimate references. When in doubt, consider the source. Would you take medical advice from BuzzFeed? You can always check websites like Snopes or trusted websites and blogs from actual aromatherapists and industry professionals that are not associated with MLM cults. I would steer clear from some websites that sell essential oils because they're always going to err on the side of not hurting sales. But I found some information confusing and conflicting. Like on one page, it says to avoid essential oils high in phenols with cats. And on the next page, they're recommending topical use of oils and some remedies, like the raindrop therapy. That's something from the MLM cults. That, that sort of stuff kind of sets off my internal ones when there's conflicting information. So here's what if you use essential oils or blends in your cleaning products? So for us, that would be like if you're using like the diluting our Four Thieves and using it to wash your floor or something like that, or wash your things. So again, it's best to err on the side of caution. Like, at the time I said I have hardwood floors. So, I've gone through times where I've made my own cleaners and whatnot. See, where you would have the risk there is if, say, you washed the floor with something that had clove and cinnamon in it, essential oil. And then the cat walks across the wet floor or absorbs any of the residue and then licks its feet. That's when you would have that's when that could cause an issue there. So again, it's if you're washing your floor with Florida water, like ours has some essential oils in it. Try to think what. I don't think any of the ones that are on this list are in that one, but it is something that's one thing to consider. So I did a follow-up blog post to this later in 2018. I think I talked to someone at the ASPCA, and this is just kind of bolstering a little bit of the research that I did. I feel like I lost the original post that I made about this. because I'm looking at the last post, what I was going through before, and I'm like, I feel like this is responding to something else, but I don't see the something else. So the most common clinical signs with dermal exposure seen by the APCC include ataxia, muscle weakness, depression, and behavioral changes. In severe cases, hypothermia and collapse may occur. With oral exposure, so dermal exposure would be on your skin. Now, there are some people that, especially from the MLM cults, that will be like, oh, sure, put essential oils on your cats and your dogs and your babies and everything. And I'm like, just no. So please do not feed your pets essential oils. With oral exposure, vomiting, diarrhea, and central nervous system depression can be seen. In severe cases, seizures and rarely liver injury has been reported with pennyroyal and melaleuca oils. If inhaled, aspiration pneumonia may occur. I want to point out one thing. The difference between essential oils and herbs is essential oils are so much more potent than the actual herb. I give this example very often. 1 drop of peppermint essential oil is the equivalent in potency of 26 cups of peppermint tea using loose peppermint herb. So that's giving you at least something to kind of quantify how potent essential oils are. So let's see. Oh, that's interesting. Do not use essential oil diffusers in the house if there are birds present. Don't know. That might be an entirely different one. That's something you want to think about. Now, if you're putting a couple drops of a ritual oil on a candle, it's probably not going to cause any major issues. Most of the issues that were observed and were caused were from essential oil diffusers, the water-based ones that are shooting the particulate out into the air. Whereas using like a candle warmer, you're kind of warming something, but it's localized. Like you smell it, but it's not like an inhalant that like thinking of it like a humidifier or like a CPAP machine where you've got something that's blowing into your face. It's a little bit different than that. And again, you know, if you're using a candle warmer or anything, you know, make sure that, you know, it's out of reach of the pets and that they can leave the area if the smell is getting too strong for them. And most diffusers do have settings on them. And sometimes even for me, like I remember once I'm going into the doctor's office and she's some kind of essential oil diffuser with like peppermint blasting at full thing. I'm like, I had to wrap a scarf around my face because it was just that much. Let's see. I tried to get some information out of at the time Young Living, but you know they stated, you know, the basics of high phenol oils are the more commonly known oils to avoid with cats. However, we also recommend avoiding oils high in monoterpene hydrocarbon, as they can also become toxic for the same reason as high phenol oils. Should you choose the oils listed around your cats, we highly encourage you to proceed with extreme caution under the guidance of a veterinarian with knowledge and experience of essential oil use with animals. I found this information to be confusing because outside of Young Living, no other substantiated source that I found refers to oils high in monoterpenes being toxic to cats in the same way high phenol oils can be. The main point is that while some oils can be toxic, it doesn't mean that they will be toxic. Typically, if a cat has an aversion or reaction to an oil, it should be noticeable based upon the symptoms that the ASPCA that I talked about above. So I hope that answers some of the questions. I'm still trying to track down a little more information. But yeah, the cat thing was really, that was a big thing. Like when that came out, there was a lot of panic about it. And I mean, the cat I had at the time lived to the ripe age of 17. You know, he passed 4 years ago, mostly from, I think he had a tumor, but again, he was 17 and he had inflammatory bowel disease as well. But these guys, I mean, for as much as I do here, like if there's something that bothers them, that they'll leave. They're not gonna, they'll leave the room. Like if I'm burning incense in here and they don't like it, they walk away. Now, sometimes they're idiots who like to sniff candles with open flames, and I'm like, kitties, please don't set yourself on fire. But that's not very common. So, all right. Anyways, we're back. So I may be missing one of my blog posts on here, but I did a lot of research for it. I may have it somewhere in the vast archives of my life, but it was important. It was an important thing to me, as someone who has cats, has had cats their entire life, wants to keep my cats safe. And it was a topic that came up. But since I've gotten some questions about that, I would say use your judgment. Like, I mean, obviously, I have all this stuff here. I make all this stuff here, and my cats are just fine. I don't diffuse oils, but I use them in a lot of things, and they're pretty good at staying out of stuff. So, just use your judgment. If you have cats, and you like to diffuse oils with a water-based, I think the main issue was water-based diffusers. To burn some incense, it probably is not going to be as big of an issue. I mean, even if the incense has a little bit of fragrance or essential oils in it, you're not inhaling the droplets of the essential oil, or taking the essential oil and putting it on your skin. Now, if you have concerns, like if your pet starts showing any signs and symptoms of having issues, by all means contact your veterinarian. And look out for things like if you're burning a candle or diffusing a particular type of oil and you notice your cat sneezing a lot more than usual, okay, maybe you want to not do that or find a different way to utilize that product. But I would say as far as bath products go, give your tub a good rinse after the water goes down the drain and stuff. I mean, Moon likes to occasionally just jump in the bathtub and sit there for whatever reason after I've taken a bath. She's weird. But, I haven't had any issues with them. I think part of the problem was the issue with this came from the MLM cults that, like I said, want you to use as many essential oils at any given time. Like, I'm pretty sure I used more lavender essential oil when I was in the brief foray into Young Living several years ago, before I realized it was an MLM cult, an anti-science MLM cult nonetheless. So the wellness industry can be hella toxic. So yeah, they just for their bottom line, they want you to use essential oils all day, all the time, and so they make more money. I think I used more lavender essential oil then than I have in my entire business, because they promote the rabid overuse of essential oils in unsustainable, unethical kinds of ways. So, be safe. Use your discernment. Science is your friend. I would pay attention more to science than a bullshit company's marketing, speak. But yeah, so the TLDR is there are some essential oils that are harmful to cats. I mentioned them earlier. If we want to recap them, get back to that page. So it was wintergreen, birch, basil, clove, oregano, niaouli, thyme with the chemotype of thymol or borneol, mountain savory, which is also sometimes called wild savory, tea tree, laurel, bay laurel or bay, peppermint, eucalyptus, and cinnamon bark. So the one thing I want to point out here, just on the aromatherapy side, a lot of those essential oils are, even for humans, very dermacaustic. Wintergreen is very toxic. Like, a small child can die from just ingesting a tablespoon of same with birch because of the methyl salicylate. That's what gives it that like candy-like aroma and probably taste too, but it's also highly toxic. So now those things are used as flavorants and things, but when you're looking at them in the parts per million for flavoring and whatnot, different story than dumping half a bottle of wintergreen into your tea. So some of these, like with clove and cinnamon, I tend to use a lot of times, depending on the avenue, like if I'm making a soap or bath salt, I'm going to be using a clove or cinnamon fragrance oil because the skin damage you can sustain from those is not worth the risk. If you want to look up chemical burns from essential oils, don't do it on an empty stomach, because it can really, there's a reason I'm very safety focused on this stuff. Like some of them, oregano I really don't use as an essential oil. That one is so freaking potent. Neoli, Melaleuca quinquenervia, that one is more on the, if you're doing some like very traditional therapeutic, like that one's good for like the respiratory system. Thyme, honestly, thyme is so freaking pungent. One drop of thyme and my entire freaking house is going to smell like pungent thyme for a week. Mountain savory, wild savory, I use it in like one flying ointment, like a small amount of it. Tea tree is a little more common. That's in a lot of that. I mean, you'll see that in a lot of hair care and skincare products too. Again, I don't really diffuse, like some of these, like tea tree is not going to smell good to diffuse. Nioli is not going to smell good. Basil, oregano, thyme, savory. Certain eucalyptuses aren't too bad. Laurel's okay. But, with peppermint and cinnamon bark, those ones would be a little bit more common in that aspect. So, yeah, it's like if I'm making something and I've got crap on my hands, I want to pet my cat, I wash my hands first and then I pet my cat. Some of it's just kind of being conscientious about things. And just because it's natural doesn't mean it's safe. Because technically, I guess heroin's technically natural because it comes, as an opium derivative. Cocaine, yeah, that's natural too. So natural doesn't equate to safe. And that's one of those rather toxic elements that comes out of the wellness industry. And there's no governing board that determines the therapeutic grade or 100%, pure high quality essential oils. And that's just, again, marketing speak. Now, if you're buying, cheap essential oils on Amazon, because hey, who hasn't done that sometimes in a pinch? Know that if you're buying a bottle of Rose Absolute for $20, that it's probably diluted, which is fine, or a synthetic. Like it's fine to use synthetics as substitutes. Now, if you're working specifically in therapeutic aromatherapy, you wouldn't want to be using synthetics in there. You would want to be using like a pure essential oil that's not necessarily pre-diluted in that sense. Of course, you dilute them when you make things, but yeah, so hopefully you found this helpful. If you have any further questions, let me know. I'm going to dig through the links I have and I will put them in there. So, because I want your familiars and your kitty cats and all that to be safe too. And yeah, thank you for watching. Don't forget to click like and subscribe because algorithms suck. And be sure to follow us on social media and sign up for our e-newsletter. Bye.